In the vast landscape of modern cinema, there are stories that drift like dreams, shimmering with mystery and poetry. The Shape of Water is one of those rare films that transcends its genre, weaving fantasy and reality into a tale of empathy, difference, and the transformative power of love. Set in the 1960s, against the backdrop of Cold War tensions and rigid social structures, the film invites us to dive into a world where silence speaks louder than words and where water becomes a metaphor for freedom, life, and connection. Before delving into the unfolding of its narrative, it is worth pausing to absorb the atmosphere that surrounds it, a universe of shadows and light, of longing and discovery, where every gesture carries meaning and every glance reveals a hidden truth. It is within this dreamlike setting that the story reminds us that beauty often lies in the unexpected, and that love, like water, knows no boundaries. In a world suspended between silence and longing, The Shape of Water unfolds like a dream tinted with melancholy and wonder. Set in the early 1960s, during the height of the Cold War, the film paints a portrait of a society gripped by paranoia, conformity, and the pursuit of control. Within this rigid framework, the story introduces a woman whose life is defined by quiet routine and invisible strength. Elisa Esposito lives in a modest apartment above a movie theater in Baltimore. Her world is one of stillness, not by choice, but by circumstance mute. Since childhood, she communicates through gestures, expressions, and the subtle language of presence. Her days begin before dawn, marked by ritualistic precision: boiling eggs, bathing, polishing her shoes, and preparing for work. She is a janitor at a secret government facility, a place where science and secrecy intertwine beneath fluorescent lights and steel corridors. The facility is a crucible of ambition and fear. Scientists and military officials scurry through its halls, driven by the urgency of technological supremacy. The Cold War looms over every decision, and the race to outmaneuver the Soviet Union fuels experiments that blur ethical boundaries. It is within this sterile environment that an extraordinary creature is brought in. A being captured from the depths of the Amazon, worshipped by locals, and now reduced to a specimen. The creature is unlike anything known to man. Amphibious, humanoid, and ancient, it possesses a mystique that defies classification. Its body glistens with scales that shimmer under artificial light, and its eyes hold a depth that suggests intelligence, pain, and curiosity. It is confined to a water tank, studied, prodded, and treated as an object of strategic value. The officials see it as a potential weapon, a biological advantage in a geopolitical chess game. Elisa, however, sees something else. Her encounters with the creature begin in silence. She observes it from a distance, drawn by a sense of recognition. Both are beings trapped by circumstance, misunderstood and marginalized. She begins to visit the tank during her cleaning shifts, bringing hard-boiled eggs and music. The creature responds not with aggression, but with wonder. A bond begins to form, fragile and profound, built on mutual respect and the absence of spoken language. The world around them remains oblivious. Colonel Richard Strickland, the man responsible for the creature's capture, embodies the brutality of authority. He is a man obsessed with control, order, and dominance. His methods are cruel, his demeanor rigid, and his worldview shaped by a belief in superiority. He sees the creature as a threat to be neutralized, a puzzle to be solved, and a trophy to be claimed. Meanwhile, Elisa's life outside the facility is marked by quiet companionship. Her neighbor Giles is a gentle soul, a commercial artist struggling with loneliness and rejection. Their friendship is tender, built on shared meals, classic films, and unspoken understanding. At work, Elisa finds solidarity in Zelda, a fellow janitor whose wit and warmth provide comfort in an otherwise sterile environment. As the bond between Elisa and the creature deepens, the stakes rise. The government plans to dissect the being, believing its biology holds secrets that could tip the balance of power. Elisa, horrified by this prospect, resolves to act. Her decision is not born of rebellion, but of compassion. She devises a plan to rescue the creature, enlisting the help of Giles and Zelda. The operation is daring, fraught with risk, and executed with the precision of someone who has nothing to lose. As the creature settles into the sanctuary of Elisa's apartment, the narrative shifts from suspense to intimacy. The bathtub becomes a vessel of transformation, not only for the being it contains, but for Elisa herself. In the quiet hours of the night, she watches the creature with a mixture of awe and tenderness. The creature, though alien in form, reveals a depth of emotion that mirrors Elisa's own. It is not monstrous, but misunderstood. Its eyes reflect curiosity, vulnerability, and a longing for connection. Elisa, in turn, discovers a sense of purpose she had never known. Her life, once defined by routine and silence, now pulses with urgency and meaning. She becomes a guardian, a lover, and a rebel, all in one. Outside their sanctuary, the world grows darker. Strickland's obsession intensifies, fueled by the pressure of superiors and the sting of failure. He begins to unravel, his facade of control cracking under the weight of his own brutality. His pursuit of the creature becomes personal, a crusade to restore his authority and punish those who defied him. The contrast between Strickland and Elisa becomes stark. One seeks domination, the other seeks liberation. The film weaves symbolism into every frame. Water, the central element, represents transformation, fluidity, and the unknown. It is the medium through which the creature survives, but also the space where Elisa finds freedom. In water, she is no longer bound by gravity or silence. She floats, dances, and connects. The bathtub, the rain, the flooded bathroom, all become stages for emotional revelation. Color plays a vital role in the storytelling. Shades of green and blue dominate the palette, evoking a sense of otherworldliness and melancholy. These hues surround the creature, the laboratory, and Elisa's apartment, creating a visual continuity that binds their worlds together. In contrast, Strickland's environment is marked by harsh whites and sterile greys, reinforcing his rigidity and detachment. Music, too, becomes a language of emotion. Elisa shares melodies with the creature, using rhythm and harmony to bridge the gap between species. The score, whimsical and haunting, underscores the dreamlike quality of their bond. It elevates moments of tenderness and amplifies the tension of impending danger. As the days pass, the creature's presence becomes harder to conceal. Giles, initially hesitant, grows protective. Zelda, though fearful, remains loyal. Their support reflects the power of chosen family, of bonds forged not by blood, but by shared humanity. Together, they form a circle of resistance, defying the machinery of oppression with acts of compassion. The climax approaches as the creature's health begins to deteriorate. It needs to return to the water, to the wild, to survive. Elisa devises a plan to release it into the canal, timing the escape with the rising tide. The urgency is palpable, the risks immense. Strickland closes in, unraveling the threads of the conspiracy. The final confrontation is inevitable. In the rain-soaked night, Elisa and the creature make their way to the canal. The city sleeps, unaware of the miracle unfolding in its depths. Strickland arrives, armed and furious, determined to reclaim control. But he is too late. The creature, wounded but resilient, defends Elisa and escapes into the water. Elisa, mortally injured, sinks into the depths. At its core, the shape of water is a meditation on identity, how it is shaped, perceived, and often misunderstood. Elisa, the protagonist, lives in a world that defines her by what she lacks: speech. Yet her silence is not emptiness. It is filled with nuance, emotion, and strength. She is not voiceless. She simply speaks in a language that others refuse to hear. Her identity is not confined to her disability, but expanded by her capacity for love, courage, and imagination. The creature, similarly, is defined by its difference. It is labeled as a monster, a threat, a specimen. But these labels are projections of fear, not reflections of truth. The being is intelligent, sensitive, and capable of deep connection. Its otherness is not a flaw, but a mirror held up to humanity's own prejudices. The film challenges viewers to reconsider what it means to be human, and whether empathy can transcend biology. The theme of otherness extends beyond the central couple. Giles, Elisa's neighbour, is a gay man living in a time of repression. His career has been derailed by age and discrimination, and his longing for companionship is met with rejection. Zelda, Elisa's co-worker, is an African-American woman navigating a society that marginalizes her voice. Each character exists on the periphery, defined by traits that the dominant culture deems inconvenient or inferior. Yet it is precisely these outsiders who form the emotional backbone of the story. Their solidarity, compassion, and quiet resistance stand in contrast to the cold machinery of power. The film suggests that true humanity resides not in dominance, but in connection. The marginalized are not weak. They are the carriers of empathy, the guardians of dignity. Empathy, in this narrative, is revolutionary. Elisa's decision to rescue the creature is not driven by logic or strategy, but by feeling. She sees its pain, recognizes its isolation, and chooses to act. Her empathy defies the expectations of her role, her gender, and her silence. It becomes a force that disrupts the status quo, challenging the authority of those who seek to control and exploit. The film also explores the politics of empathy. Strickland, the antagonist, embodies a worldview rooted in hierarchy and fear. He cannot comprehend the bond between Elisa and the creature because it defies his binary logic. To him, the creature is either useful or disposable. He is incapable of seeing nuance, of recognizing value beyond utility. His downfall is not just moral, it is epistemological. He cannot understand what he cannot categorize. In contrast, the scientists who assist Elisa, particularly Dr. Hofstadter, represent a more complex moral landscape. Hofstadter is a Soviet spy, yet his actions are guided by conscience. He sees the creature as a sentient being, deserving of protection. His empathy transcends ideology, suggesting that even within systems of control, individuals can choose compassion. The film's title itself is a metaphor. Water has no shape, yet it adapts, flows, and sustains life. It is a symbol of transformation, of fluid identity, of the possibility of change. The love between Elisa and the creature is like water, uncontainable, unclassifiable, and essential. It defies boundaries and reshapes the world around it. Visually, the film reinforces these themes through its production design. The use of curved lines, aquatic motifs, and soft lighting creates a sense of immersion. The world feels submerged, as if the characters are navigating an emotional ocean. The contrast between the sterile facility and Elisa's warm apartment underscores the divide between control and care. The narrative structure also reflects the fluidity of emotion. The story moves between genres, romance, thriller, fantasy, and political drama, without losing coherence. This genre blending mirrors the thematic blending of identities, suggesting that stories, like people, need not fit into rigid categories. In the final act, Elisa attempts to release the amphibian creature into the city canal, knowing that only in the water can it survive. Strickland intercepts them, driven by rage and obsession, and shoots both Elisa and the creature. For a moment, it seems as though all hope is lost. Yet the creature rises again, stronger than expected, and kills Strickland, ending his pursuit. With Elisa gravely wounded, the creature carries her into the depths of the canal. Beneath the surface, something miraculous occurs. The scars on her neck